for people that don't know, too, not to cut you off. For
yes,
people that don't know,
fair.
for their show, Fool Us, right? It's they're two. What's their background?
They're magicians. They're skeptics. They had a show on Showtime called Bullshit.
Yeah.
That ran for like 10 seasons.
And so basically, people come on, right, to show they do their act or they do something and they they see if they can figure it out.
Yes.
And if they can't figure it out, then you've successfully fooled
them, and you get a big trophy that says "Fool Us" with the F and the U really big on it, so it says "FU."
Yeah.
And you get to come back and close their Las Vegas show.
That's cool.
For a night or two. And and I have a few friends that have done the show. I have a few friends that have won the show, which is really cool. And I've worked behind the scenes with a lot of them, working on their script or working on making their stuff better on camera.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those things where, so on their TV show Bullshit, they covered, we were talking about astrology before. They covered on like why psychics are bullshit, why astrology. Now, I mean, they went hard too. They did everything from, oh man, what were some of the more controversial ones? They did exorcisms. They did the Bible. They did like a whole episode on the Bible, like their first season. And
it's like MythBusters, but on another level.
Yeah. Way more nudity and swearing.
Yeah, okay.
For sure. They went hard, and that was like the kind of peak for them of like the skeptics who like break everything apart.
Yeah.
And they had a few mentalists on their first season that like while they're talking about the act afterwards, Penn was like, okay, just to be clear, he said that if you say these words, he can implant a thought. That is all, blah, blah, but that's not what's actually going on. What's actually going on is there's a thing in his shoe, blah, blah. So like they were like fully ready to just rip it apart. Now, as the years went on with the show, they developed more of a code back and forth with the performer, and also there's consultants behind the scenes on that. Like you don't get to decide if you've fooled Penn and Teller, like because people are like, what stops you from saying no, that's not how I did it, and winning the show? Like because there's someone else off camera, talking into Penn and Teller's earpieces of like, yes, you got it, or no, you don't.
Yeah.
And again, a couple of my friends had done the show that went really well, and I've had friends who've done other shows, and they've had a mixed bag, but consistently, the worst that ever happened with one of my friends on the show Fool Us was it didn't air. That was literally the worst thing I heard about
Which happens all the time in TV.
Happens all the time, and they film like 60 acts a year.
Yeah.
And so to be like the one or two that, we filmed too many, like that's more so if, something ends up, they can't use it, or actually, I can tell this story now. The season I filmed, the week I was filming, I found out the night before I arrived, because you stay at the Rio, which is where their theater is.
Hell yeah.
And you film there. Someone, I don't know who this was. I have my suspicions. Someone was booked for the show.
Okay.
Did their rehearsal. Walked through the casino. Saw one of those cardboard cutouts of like a sexy model. Stole it. Took it up to their room. Made a silly video of it in their bathtub. Posted it on social media. And the cops came, and the Rio
kicked them out.
Well, kicked them out. They pressed charges, and they were not on the show anymore. Wow. So hope that piece of content did
enough. Yeah.
Did enough, which they had probably had to delete anyway. So,
yeah. Kind of a bad time to like have your hangover moment. Like maybe save that for after you do the show. Like maybe film the show. Come back to the Rio on your own dime.
I'm wondering, too, if that was more of a, like, we have to make an example. We can't let other acts get out of line or whatever. I don't know what all the, for lack of a better term, politics are for that.
Yeah.
So
you get on the show, and you've been wanting it for 60-some submissions, and then you finally get on, and you get there. I mean, we don't want to spoil the episode itself.
Well, there's a few minor things, I won't spoil.
Yeah.
But I can say this now. So I got the okay. I got we want you in Vegas. We're going to film these days. We want to book you, everything. That all happened end of March, beginning of April.
Okay.
And we didn't film till the beginning of August. And with media and, all this stuff, that's actually quite a long time in between.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-production, production, all of that. So I took advantage of that. I took a minor sabbatical from shows. I didn't book as many shows that for like a month that year. I hired someone who has worked with David Blaine, who worked on some of his scripting and some of the writing for his not just TV shows but also his stage show. He's based in the UK, so we Zoomed. I talked with someone else who does a lot of consulting work. Actually, I'll drop his name because he's performing in Vegas right now. My buddy Spidey. He has a huge YouTube channel. He does mentalism he has a background in criminal profiling.
Sure.
So he actually has done. You may have seen some of his videos where he like during the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, he had tons of videos where he was talking about everyone's body language during it and everything. And he's currently in Shin Lim's show Limitless in Las Vegas as the guest act for like this year. Yeah, he's doing awesome.
Shout out to Spidey, you said?
Yeah, Spidey.
Shout out to Spidey.
Shout out to Spidey. Love you, Spidey.
Yeah.
And he hopped on Zoom with me and chatted with me a bit on it, and we talked about the script.
What was the biggest nugget of advice you got, either from him or someone else, that like you thought was maybe a light bulb moment going into this?
By the way, I promise I'm not on coke. I just, for some reason, my nose is super itchy. I just realized I don't want people to be like, oh, Joe Diamond, that's how he sees colors.
Yeah.
No,
talking about how he can get his nose to bleed on
command.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, I voodooed myself just now.
Yeah.
So I had great advice. So here was the thing, too. This is a mini spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen the episode. They said okay to me doing something with tarot cards because the other kind of secret thing of the show is they want as few card tricks on the show as possible, or as few playing cards on the show as possible.
Yeah.
Because they get a lot of submissions, and they also know ratings and all that it's not as high.
And you don't want to have a bunch of the same stuff going up. Totally, it makes sense.
But also, cards are not Penn and Teller's forte, so it's more likely that those will fool them.
Sure.
So that's why they also, like only one of the person I know personally who has fooled them didn't do a card trick on the show.
Oh, okay. So the other people that have
amazing.
Fooled them have done card tricks. Gotcha.
So I figured, oh my gosh, with tarot cards, they're not going to recognize this principle that I'm using. And like, I've got a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
Now, another friend of mine, Brian Brushwood, he was on the show and he helped out a lot too. And him and Spidey both really drilled into my head, like, you're not going on to fool them. Like, get that out of your head. That's not in your control. What is in your control is how you come across, what words you choose, you don't get to choose what you do on the show, technically,
there's guidance from the producers.
Exactly. They say you're going to do this piece, this trick, this whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Like, I can't show up the day of filming and go, hey guys, I'm going to do this thing with balloons instead. No, we got to do that thing.
Yeah.
So I worked really hard on it from, again, April, May, June, first week of July. We're in our second Zoom rehearsal with the producers, the main consultant. Yeah. And the producers are like, yeah, you know what? We kind of like this better with playing cards. Do you mind switching back to playing cards?
Shit.
And the answer is yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sirs.
Of course.
And I realized I had the curse of the good student because I was working really hard on the script.
Yeah.
Really hard. And I was sending them an update every single time I made an update. So with the tarot cards, the premise was that the artist who designed tarot cards, and this is true, she had synesthesia. She could see music when she listened to music like Beethoven and Bach. The tarot cards were the images that Pamela Coleman Smith saw as she listened to music like Beethoven and Bach. Yeah. And there's a joke in magic where you go, so the faces are all different and the backs are all the same, right? So the line at that moment was going to be, so that's why the faces are all different and the box are all the same, which I love. That was a great line. Yeah. Again, shout out to Spidey. Great line.
Yeah.
Now that I'm not doing tarot, all those jokes, all those lines, and that was kind of the exciting thing too. I'm like, oh my gosh, the two Las Vegas skeptics, they've had a show called Bullshit. Now this guy from the Midwest is going to come on their show with them at the table on their stage and try to fool them with a deck of tarot cards. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's edgy. That's awesome. Different. And now I've gone from that super cool hook to, oh yeah, just do it with regular playing cards. Now I'm just another white guy doing a card trick, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, that's tough.
What do I do?
How do you make that
crazy?
So
I resubmitted the new script, which was basically something I've done before, where I went to a very religious school, and this is true.
Yeah.
And I was just doing like mind reading with playing cards and some card tricks, and they were like, "This is of the devil," and like one of the teachers took away my cards.
Yeah.
So I then started bending all the silverware in the cafeteria, and they were even madder at that, and it creeped them out more. But they technically couldn't tell me no. So I was like, "Oh, this is a good hook. It tells them who I am and everything." So it was. In many ways, it was the better thing because now it was just me. It's literally just me and Penn and Teller, my wits, and technically the deck of cards. And I worked really hard on the script for that last month. Now, this was the summer of 2023 when the writer's strike was happening.
Yeah.
Now, Penn and Teller Fool Us is a reality show, so technically it's not.
There's no writer, not the same kind of writer.
It's not the same. Yeah, it's not. It's a completely different union, all that stuff. Yeah. There's joke writers, there's this, but like they're not being paid to write scripts the same way a
movie and TV.
Yeah, exactly. This is reality. It's a completely. There is a union, but it's a completely different union.
Yeah.
So my one friend calls me who had done the show before. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm working on the Fool Us script. They want it with playing cards now, so I'm rewriting it and coming up with this. I'm coming up with that." And he just starts laughing. I'm like, "What, dude?" And Bill goes, "Dude, you are the only writer in TV right now."
Yeah, China. Yeah, at that point,
I was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's kind of cool." Yeah. But because I had sent them so many updates, like if I made when that one joke was added by Spidey, I put it in the script and sent it to technically that's what I kind of assumed. Everyone else who goes on that show, they're doing stuff they've done for years.
Yeah.
For the most part. And so very often the first time they actually put it on paper, write it down, is to send to those producers. And they don't work on it again until like the video rehearsals but I kept sending them all the updates. So they knew I was a good student.
Yeah.
So they knew if they told me I needed to make this change, I'd be more likely to make a change than someone else.
Yeah, your name was popping up in the inbox so many times. They're like, "Oh, this guy, we got this guy. Whatever we want, we can do."
Yeah, he'll be able to do it. He's got it.
We can look at the 60-some submissions from before.
Yeah, from before. Yeah, exactly. And when I talked with Brian Brushwood, he hosts Scam School, Scam Nation, Modern Rogue, those big YouTube channels, and he did their show a few years ago. And he used to do something called psychic surgery, where you like apparently go into someone's stomach and pull out some of their guts and stage blood and stuff. But he did it. The gag he added to it is that he did it as a card trick. He pulled the card out of the guy's stomach.
Yeah.
And even for that, they made him not make it a card trick. They made him use like a bill or something. And he's like, "Dude, as someone who did a literal blood and guts card trick," and they were like, "Don't make this a card trick," and they're saying, "It's okay if you just do a card trick and read their minds and do your personality. That means they like you. This is a good sign." I was like, "Okay, yeah, this is good. This is all right. I'm very happy with this." And but I also knew if they saw it with playing cards, like they were going to recognize it. So I won't spoil the very, very end, but if you do watch it, let's just say I used that to my advantage.
Yeah.
And during the interview, which they swapped hosts that season too. It used to be Allison Hannigan, and that season was the first season with Brooke Burke.
Okay.
Like my childhood crush from when I was a child.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Do you have any good stories for Brooke to ask you about during the interview?" While Penn and Teller are deliberating of what they think you did. And that's the other thing. Like sometimes they're just in those seats and you're up on stage doing your thing.
Yeah.
And they were like right next to me, like here and here, super close.
Right on everything you got going on. Yeah.
I wasn't doing any sleight of hand, so I knew that was an advantage for me too. When they saw cards, they would probably think sleight of hand.
Yeah.
And when they heard mind reading, they would think other typical mind reading techniques, not something as complex as I actually was using. That's the other funny thing too. There's a video of me teaching what I did on Fool Us.
Yeah.
Like it was on Brian Brushwood's channel.
Yeah.
Like if you type my name into YouTube,
eventually.
the first thing is that video of me on Fool Us, and literally the next video you see will be me teaching that.
Nice.
It's 20 minutes long, and if you want to go through it all and break it all down, all the different things you got to keep track of and remember and everything, go ahead. But even before like Fool Us was even a glint in my eye, I had some audience members and some regulars at a venue come up to me going, "Oh, I watched that one video of you doing that thing. Yeah, I had to turn it off after 10 minutes. I couldn't follow it." So, there you go.
Yeah.
So they did say that what I did took actual mental effort, which again, for people who are like, "Oh, mentalism, mind reading, it's that we don't like," for them to say, "Oh, no, this is the legit. This is."
Yeah. That's a good stamp.
That's a great stamp, For them to say that, for them to say this is the kind, this is the kind of mentalism we love best. You're a wonderful performer. We like you, right? Like they are saying all the things you want them to say. And while we're doing the interview, Brooke Burke asks, "Oh, so I heard you learned palm reading. How'd you learn palm reading?" And I was like, "Oh, those producers." I didn't think they'd say this because Penn and Teller don't like palm readers and stuff.
Yeah.
The way I learned palm reading was I had a book, and Brooke was on Wild On, that travel show she was on in the early 2000s. I taped a bunch of them, and I literally paused at one point where her hand was reaching out and tried to read her palm.
Wow, dude.
And the joke I said to them was, I wanted to see if her and I were soulmates. We're not.
Yeah.
I just said that to the producers to be like, "Oh yeah, this is something funny."
This is fun, yeah.
But now she's asked, and I'm like, "Oh, I gotta tell Brooke the story now." Jesus. And then she goes, "Oh, well, can you read my hand now? Can you read my palm now?" And I'm like, okay, the creators of the TV show bullshit are right there. Yeah. I'm in their theater. I'm in their house. I'm on their stage. It says Penn and Teller in big giant
They're
letters.
Deliberating right now.
They're deliberating. And there's also a little bit of they're talking. You don't see it on camera, but there's a little bit of a like a little bit like, "Oh, what's he going to do? Oh, it's not our job right now. We'll, whatever. We'll tell them to cut it if it's not what we want or whatever." So I made a few stupid jokes. And then just told her she actually had something which not everyone has, which is a sister line. It's a line that runs parallel with your lifeline. Everyone has a lifeline, but not everyone has a sister line.
Yeah.
And that usually means good luck or a guardian angel or something. So I got to say that. She's like, "Oh, that's wonderful." And she hugged me.
Big time.
And I'm like,
how was 8-year-old you feeling in that moment? I know it's somewhere. I know you're married, but
no.
Bro.
Okay, so a couple things about my wife, Lindsay. Okay, for me to tell you exactly what she said does technically spoil it. I won't spoil what I did at the end, but the way my wife says is she goes, two things, like he has a shot with Brooke Burke, and second of all, she's like, "I don't have to find a place in our apartment for a hug. I have to find a place in our apartment for a big gaudy trophy if he has that. Like I don't have to for So it was like, okay, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like that's amazing. They're still deliberating and she has more questions. I purposefully just bombed those questions. I was like, I just gave like, yeah, a little bit. Even when she had like a really good question that I wanted to like talk more about, it's like, oh, that's a really tough question, I think even the people, because in my head I'm like, don't give them anything as good as her hugging you.
Yeah.
Don't even air the trick. Don't give me a trophy. Like, just air her hugging me and reading her palm. I will be a very happy mentalist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they did. They did. And so that came off great. And
I just imagine some guy in the editing room like, God, this Joe Diamond guy, he's not giving me shit, man. All I have is this hug.
Well, so here's the other thing. It's funny you mentioned the editing. We did 2 takes.
Whoa.
I was performing. I'm doing all the jokes.
They get to see you do it twice?
They weren't. Well, they can, but that's not the way it normally goes. So what happened was the main consultant told me to do something. If someone wants to watch the video and you'll understand what I mean.
What can they stream this on, by the way? It's got to be on something.
It's on the CW app. It's on Joe Diamond Live on YouTube.
Okay.
It's on Vimeo. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Just search again, Joe Diamond Fool Us.
Yeah. And we've got the Instagram link down below.
Yeah, it's on my Instagram. Yep, exactly. So, and if you want to find out how it's done, again, watch the
video right underneath.
Yeah, watch the 20-minute video and comprehend it. Basically, there is a point where I shouldn't take my eyes off Teller, and the producer or the one consultant told me to. He's like, don't worry about it. If he does what he's not supposed to, I'll say, hey, we need to start over. There's an issue. They won't know they did something to screw with the effect, but it'll make it look better for TV. So I'm like, okay, I'll trust you. You are the biggest, consultant in this industry. You've worked with all these other acts. You know what you're talking about. And Teller did what he wasn't supposed to do. So I keep going. And I'm like, okay, well, just do the jokes. Keep going. Wait for the voice of God to say, hey, we need to start over. It's still seared in my memory because it never, this part didn't air. The voice never comes. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm doing the script. The voice never comes. And it gets to the point where I gotta read their minds and go through the deck and take out their cards. Yeah. Like, it's like, I'm like, well.
Yeah, you gotta be, shook a little bit at that point. You were expecting to start over.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, this princess has to save herself. There's no one coming to save her. Yeah. And I'm the princess.
Yeah.
So I go, and that's, Mike, are we okay? Now, this is a mic. Yeah. And the mic was under my shirt. The main consultant guy's name is Mike Close.
Yeah.
So that was my way to stop for a moment. One of the producers comes on and says, yeah, Joe, your mic's fine, but we're talking over something. Let's give us just a second. Everyone hold, please. We hold. It's kind of awkward. And like, hey, one of the cameras wasn't rolling. We need to start you over from the beginning, Joe. And the audience goes, oh, and Penn Teller go, oh, and I go, oh. Another thing. I was the last one to film that day.
Wow. Oh, wow, yeah.
And 2 other acts before me had fooled them.
Damn.
Live audience. The live audience is tired. They've seen Penn and Teller perform. They've seen 2 people, 2 people fool them. Now, again, out comes just Mr. Midwest with a deck of cards. Like, what's going to happen?
And now you got to redo it.
And now we got to start over. So, yeah, so it's like, So I go, it's okay. My one mentor said, enjoy every moment. So now I get to enjoy every moment twice. And as we get reset, we get back to 1. I realize, they're going to see the whole script and they're going to notice that I'm going to be very specific about what to do now. I went from like a 50-50 shot of them. They're 100% going to know this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, have more fun, have more fun. The other weird thing happened. It's the closest I've ever had to a real life Groundhog Day. Because, we do shows, we have audiences, but every audience is different.
Yeah.
So, they sometimes always laugh in the right place, but sometimes they laugh harder or softer. And that's always a different audience. I'm about to do the same thing for a whole other audience, for a whole same audience. It's not like they brought in a whole other group. So I do the first joke of my introduction, and it gets a huge laugh, way bigger than the first take. And I do the next thing, huger laugh. I tell Teller, look at me, make sure I don't peek. Instead of just doing his little looking at me, he really leans in. He's like, gets bug-eyed and gets right in my face. Yeah. I say there's a line at one point where I tell Penn I have a tingling sensation. And the first take, he was like, yeah, I think I feel it. And the second take, he was like, me too.
Everything was elevated.
Everyone knew what their role was now.
Yeah.
And the audience didn't think I had screwed up, so they were all pulling for me.
Yeah.
Because they're
almost giving you the benefit of the doubt.
They're giving me, so all that happens. The trick goes off without a hitch. The audience loves it. It goes really well. I'm at breakfast the next morning, literally waiting for the van to take me to the airport to go home. And I see one of the producers. It's 2 main guys. I see him. I go, I'm going to go over and say thank you. I say, hey, thank you. And he says, hey, don't worry about the screw up. We'll edit the 2 together to make it look good. By the way, they used almost everything from the second take. There's like literally one take. You can tell because Teller's hand is up by his face during take one and there's only like 2 shots of that in the whole thing.
Gotcha.
He goes, we were all debating in the booth though. How'd you know Penn had the wrong card? I'm like, huh? What do you mean? Because we don't know what card it's going to be, but we know it's going to be one of several. I'm well ahead. I don't know exactly which one he has, but I know it's not all. I know he doesn't have a chance of all 52 possibilities. We'll leave it there. Again, if you want to watch the video, watch the video.
Yeah.
And I go, what do you mean? He's like, well, he had such and such for that first take. How'd you know? And I was like, I didn't. Teller did something when he wasn't supposed to. He's like, oh. Yeah. I was like, well, why didn't Mike call cut? And he's like, oh, Mike wasn't there yesterday. He was in the hospital with COVID.
Oh,
and I was like,
no.
So wait, so you're telling me if I hadn't spotted Teller's screw up, I wouldn't be, because I completely missed Penn's screw up from earlier, I would have started looking for, so basically the story would have been completely different. The audience would have seen me fail getting their cards. So now they're just watching a guy at the end of this filming. And it takes them a few tries to find their cards.
Oh, Jesus.
And they're like, oh my God. And I just look at him and I go, the magic gods saved me.
Yeah.
And my mentor, Eugene Berger, taught me that principle, that effect over 20 years ago. He's no longer with us. I realized on the plane back that was filmed on August 8th in 2023. He passed away in 2017 on August 8th.
Whoa.
So I'm like,
something was going on, man.
Eugene's ghost saved me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And what's up with Mike, man? We need to get him some vitamin C because he almost blew that shit for us, bro. Someone needs to make sure his immune system is okay. He can't be getting
He is
COVID.
okay. I've emailed him and talked with him since, and he was great. He was right for, because we got the 2 takes.
I mean, you still got it. You still got it.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's scaring us, man, just a little bit there. That's terrifying, man.
So long story short, I got, it took me 60 tries. I got all the way to Vegas with a, no sleight of hand required, but mentally difficult, card effect.
Yeah.
And it still took 2, and like, that's the scary part of people like, do you want your own show on TV? I'm like, I went through 4 months of all of the writing and the working and the consulting.
Yeah.
And then the months of waiting for it to air. For 10 minutes. I can't imagine doing a whole series. I can't imagine the people who do, multiple parts and all this stuff. And it's just like, it is literally impossible. So it's like, nope, I'm okay with doing what I'm doing.
It's fun to try it out.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for watching that last video, guys. Click right over here to see the episode in its entirety, or click over here to subscribe and check out all the other cool shit we have on the channel. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Do it.